Okay, good evening. We'll call the meeting to order. Any disclosure of pecuniary interest, general nature thereof. Seeing none, reading and confirmation of the minutes, a resolution the minutes of the Council Planning Committee meeting held on May 6, 2024 be approved. Councillor Enright Miller, Councillor Alsop, any questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor? That's carried. Thank you. We've got some opening remarks. The public meeting is being heard by the Council Planning Committee, and public notice has been given in accordance with the Planning Act. The citizen appointees joining are Mr. John Beltudis, Mr. Tyler Fenton, Mr. Paul Jennings, and Ms. Sarita Van Dyke. They may ask questions and participate in the discussion to assist in recommendations to City Council, but may not make motions or vote in connection with the public meeting. If a person or public body does not make oral submissions at a public meeting or make written submissions to the Planning Committee or City Council before the bylaw is passed, the person or public body is not entitled to appeal the decision of City Council or the Ontario Land Tribunal. If a person or public body does not make oral submissions at a public meeting or make written submissions to the City of Belleville before the related bylaw is passed, the person or public body may not be added as a party to a hearing of an appeal before the Ontario Land Tribunal unless, in the opinion of the tribunal, there are reasonable grounds to add the person or public body as a party. Comments received at this public meeting, as well as written comments, will be considered by the Engineering and Development Services Department in the analysis of the applications that were part of the public meeting tonight. For further information on how to provide comments to the city regarding an application from this public meeting, please email planning@belleville.ca. A recommendation report will be brought forward upon receipt of all agency and public comments in the future. Any persons wishing to be advised of the Council Planning Committee's recommendations regarding today's applications are requested to leave their name and address on the appropriate notification sheet on the clipboard beside the podium. With that, we'll move into the public meetings portion. 5.1, notice of complete application and introductory public meeting for proposed zoning bylaw amendment bylaw 2024-100, Brennan Road, roll 120810003510-400, City of Belleville. Owner is Christopher Sherman. Agent is Keith Watson of Watson Land Surveyors. File number is B-77-1212. If staff could present the application, please.
Thank you, Chair. 202 Brennan Road. The subject land is located on the east side of Brennan Road, just north of the Brennan Road and Casey Road intersection. By way of background, a consent application was approved on February 15, 2024, which granted the permission to sever one residential lot from the property for the construction of a single detached dwelling. The proposed severed portion of the property is currently vacant, while the retained portion is being utilized for agriculture. As a condition of the approved consent, this application proposes to rezone the severed parcel from rural zone to rural residential zone, and the retained parcel to a site-specific rural zone, which would recognize a reduced lot frontage of approximately 57.5 meters. The official plan designation of the subject land is rural land use, and at this time, staff have not received any correspondence from the public regarding the application. Back to you, Chair.
Thank you. Is there anyone wishing to speak on the application? Yes, if you'd like to come forward, just activate the microphone, and if you could state your name, please.
Hello, my name is Jennifer Matthews. I'm here on behalf of Watson Land Surveyors to answer any questions on this application, if there is any.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from committee members? No? Okay, thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak on the application? And a third time? Okay, seeing none. Resolution of the Christopher Sherman application B-77-1212 be referred to the regular Planning Advisory Committee meeting for consideration. Councillor Alsop, seconded by Councillor Brown. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. 5.2, notice of complete application and introductory public meeting for proposed zoning bylaw amendment bylaw 2024-100, 676 Foxton Road, Roslyn, City of Belleville. Owner is Justin Kyle Bell. File number is B-77-1213. If staff could present the application, please.
Thank you, Chair. The subject land is located south at the Foxton Road and Boundary Road intersection. By way of background, two consent applications were approved on February 16, 2023, which granted approval to each sever one residential lot from the subject land for the construction of two single detached dwellings. The proposed severed parcels are currently undeveloped and vegetated, while the retained portion is developed with an existing single detached dwelling and detached accessory building. As a condition of both consents, this application proposes to rezone the severed parcels from rural zone to rural residential zone. No rezoning is proposed for the retained portion of the subject land. The official plan designation of the subject land is rural land use, and at this time, staff have not received any correspondence from the public regarding this application. Back to you, Chair.
Thank you. Anyone wishing to speak to the application? Second time? Third time? Seeing none. Resolution that the Justin Kyle Bell application B-77-1213 be referred to the regular Planning Advisory Committee meeting for consideration. Moved by Councillor Brown, seconded by Councillor Enright Miller. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. 5.3, Notice of Complete Application and Introductory Public Meeting for Proposed Zoning Bylaw Amendment, Bylaw 2024-100, Settlers Ridge East, Phase 3, City of Belleville. Owner is 2215-100 Ontario Incorporated and 238-0416 Ontario Incorporated. Applicant agent is RFA Planning Consultant Incorporated, and the file number is B-77-1214. If staff could present the application, please.
Thank you, Chair. This application is proposed to facilitate Phase 3 of the Settlers East subdivision and the development of 109 residential dwellings, including single detached and townhouse dwellings. The proposed subdivision would also extend Raycroft Drive east to Roy Boulevard, which connects to Highway 62. Multi-purpose trail is also proposed along the Raycroft Drive extension. The subject land is currently zoned residential type 1 R1-5 zone and development control zone. This application proposes to rezone the subject property to a site-specific residential type 2 zone. Special provisions are proposed to increase the lot coverage and a reduction in lot frontage. This application also proposes to rezone a portion of the subject property to open space zone for a parkette. And the official plan designation of this land is residential land use. A corresponding draft plan of subdivision has also been submitted and is being reviewed by staff at this time. And at this time, we've also received no comments from the public. Back to you, Chair.
Thank you. Anyone wishing to speak on the application?
I'm not sure if you can see my presentation or not. I'm not seeing that on the screen. There we are. Thank you. I'm Ruth Ferguson-Althouse. I'm here on behalf of the owners of the Settlers Ridge East subdivision in Devanco Homes. And I have a very brief presentation for the applications that were submitted to the municipality. As Tom has provided an overview of the subject lands, they are outlined here in blue, and they are approximately 5.8 hectares. They're within the City of Belleville urban serviced area, and they're at the terminus of three roads: Roy Boulevard, Town Center Drive, and Raycroft Drive. And to the south, there's a future medium density subdivision that's pending with the same development group. To the north, there's the Trans-Canada Pipeline. To the west is low density residential, the Settlers Ridge East subdivision, which is nearing completion. And to the east are highway commercial uses. We started pre-consultation with the municipality last fall, and we submitted the applications in April this spring. The review of the applications and the supporting studies is currently underway with municipal staff and various government agencies. And to support the application for rezoning and subdivision approval, there was a planning justification report, a functional servicing report, and stormwater management report by Jewel Engineering, and a traffic impact study by Azura Transportation Engineers. This slide shows the proposed draft plan of subdivision, which is no longer a public process. However, it's important to touch on what is being proposed, since that is the subject to the rezoning application. Shown in yellow on the drawing of the subdivision plan, the dark tone and the light tone are the single detached dwellings There are 50 in total. They range in lot frontage from 40 to 45 feet. There are also townhomes proposed, which is the other half of the subdivision dwelling unit count. There are two-story towns in the orange that are on the east side of the subdivision, and there are bungalow townhouses that are shown in the paler orange, and these are interspersed on the western side of the subdivision in groups of 3 and 4. This is similar to what you would see in Settlers Ridge 2, the bungalow towns being interspersed with the single detached dwellings. We met with the Parks Department and Director and were asked to provide a parkette at the northern limit of the subdivision. It is intended at some time that that would connect with future parkland to the north, and that the balance of the land or balance be provided as cash to provide for future improvements to parks. The streets itself, the south would be Raycroft Drive, and there's a crescent that has been already named and accepted by the city as Cousins Crescent. So that will be the main street that will be providing service to the subdivision. As mentioned, there's also the extension of the multipurpose trail along Raycroft Boulevard on the south side, and that will connect Settlers Ridge to Town Center Drive. Just touching briefly on the servicing studies that were completed by Jewel and Azura. This area will have full municipal services that will be extended to the subdivision, and Jewel Engineering provided the servicing study, and I believe design drawings as well have already been submitted to the city, that there is sufficient servicing available to allow for these extensions of both sewer and water, and that as well with respect to the traffic impacts, that this development can proceed without any improvements being required to the existing road network and traffic controls in the area. This site, in terms of stormwater management, is part of the Norbel Master Drainage Plan area, and this concept for stormwater management was developed in the early 2000s. There's a typo here. I should point out it's the quantity control treatment is in place, and it was designed to receive from these lands for stormwater management. And Jewel Engineering has provided an overview through their stormwater management report and determined that the Norbel Creek system can accommodate the runoff from this site, and quality controls would be provided through measures such as oil grit separator units. Our planning report provided a detailed overview of the provincial policy statement. As referenced, the subject property is within the Belleville Urban Serviced Area, where growth and development shall be focused. The site will be serviced with full municipal services, which is the preferred method of servicing. The site is already designated residential in the Belleville official plan, and a mix of housing types and densities is to be provided, and that the subdivision is to be designed with a compact form with a range of housing types and affordability options. The rezoning application is consistent with the 2020 PPS. Turning to the Belleville official plan, as referenced, it is designated within the land use urban serviced area as residential, also residential within the Canafton planning area on Schedule E. The density of the subdivision is 26 units per net hectare, which slightly exceeds the low density upper limit. The proposed density will assist in achieving official plan policies related to more affordable compact urban development, and it conforms to all of the residential policies within both the overarching official plan policies as well as the Canafton planning area. In terms of the zoning bylaw, we work very closely with the planning staff, since this is one of the first applications to come forward under the new Belleville zoning bylaw 2024-100. And it's currently split zone between a development control zone and an R1-5 zone. So it'll be rezoned entirely to an R2 zone, except for the parkette, which would be zoned open space. There's some minor revisions to the zoning categories which are used in other special zones, which will apply to this zone category, to slightly increase the lot coverage for the singles, as well as for the two-story townhouses, to reduce those frontages from 6 meters to 5.2. And the remaining provisions within the city's zoning bylaw have been demonstrated and will be satisfied. That's the conclusion of my presentation. Just to conclude that it does, the rezoning is consistent with the PPS, as well as it conforms to the official plan for the city of Belleville and has had regard for the comprehensive zoning bylaw, and will facilitate the next phase of Settlers Ridge East in the Thurlow ward of the city of Belleville. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions from committee members? Councillor Millet.
Thank you. Through you, Chair, to Ms. Ferguson Althouse. Thank you, Ruth, for the presentation. 3.2 in your report, stormwater management. I understand Jules done a stormwater management report. Norbel, I have two questions. Norbel Creek watershed, we had the slide up there last. Is Norbel the creek that runs south of this proposed development and on, if you will? Well, yeah, well, hold that one for now. I'll ask that question first. Is that an a design of the OGS system at the bottom of that?
That's just a typical, Councillor Millette.
Yep.
It's not one that, it's one that was provided as an example in the Jewel engineering report.
Okay, that's my question is, if what's included in what you're proposing is for quantity of storm runoff, the quality that will eventually make its way to Norbel Creek is to be improved using an OGS system. Could you just?
That's correct. The quantity would go to the pond.
Yeah.
And the quality would be through the OGS or something like that.
Okay. My question is, can you explain for the lay people here, the workings of an OGS system?
Well, as I understand.
Yeah,
as I understand it, they're approved unit that has been designed and is utilized across the province for quality controls, essentially to trap the sediment and to ensure that as you say, that sediment is not getting into the pond, so that it helps to improve the quality of the water that's getting to the storm pond. Mm-hmm. And then over time, that sediment must be regularly maintained and removed.
Yeah, because we are having issue with. It's quite an extensive process to clean the stormwater ponds if that sediment isn't looked after. So that's my point there. Okay, that's fine. Thank you very much, Kate.
Any other questions? Ms. Van Dyke.
Hi there, through you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to clarify, did you say that there was 26 units being built per hectare?
26 units per net hectare, that's correct.
So that's, if my math is correct, that's 2 acres?
Yes.
Approximately, so 26
yes.
units?
The Belleville official plan sets out a range of density. So up to about 25 units per hectare is low density, and 25 beyond to 60 is the medium density. So it's on the very upper limit of the low or the very lower limit of the medium density in terms of how the City of Belleville official plan breaks out the densities for residential development.
Okay, and so, and it says that there will be approximately 109 residentials.
Yes.
And I know that there's a variety of units. How many people are we looking at? Could be populated in that area?
Approximately 300, I suppose, if you assume 3 persons per unit.
Okay. So then my last question is, you made mention of the parkette. So can you just educate me, what does a parkette consist of? How big is it?
The parkette would typically be a playground, a tot lot. It would be something that would serve just the local subdivision. It's also intended as a future connector to a larger park. And the reason for providing it is it's just slightly distant from the main park serving Settlers Ridge, the whole community. And so although there's the trail that people can hop on and get to the central park for Settlers Ridge, this subdivision is just slightly, not quite ideally as close as it could be. So the intention that the city, through their parks planning, is that in the future there'll be a larger park to the north to serve as that area develops. So this would be the connecting link to that park. So it's somewhat of an interim solution until the larger area develops.
Okay. And sorry, approximately what size is a parkette? I think, is it here?
Yes, it's about 0.07 hectares.
Okay. Okay, perfect. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Any other questions from committee members? No, I just have two, Ms. Ferguson Oldhouse. In terms of, and we're just obviously sending it off for staff to review, but if approvals all proceed, I ask this question every time, what does the owner foresee in terms of full build-out for these 109 units, in terms of timeline?
Well, of course, a lot of that is market-driven, but I can tell you they're very anxious to get going. In fact, the engineering design drawings were submitted with the draft plan of subdivision application because they do want to proceed with construction as soon as possible of the infrastructure. So if that, in terms of the desire to get the actual works, the roads and sewer and water extended there, Devanco Homes is very much wishing to carry on and get this subdivision going. In terms of the actual build-out, I'm sorry I don't have the answer to that.
No, that's fair, and certainly the market needs more supply, so the
Yes.
sooner the better. Speaking of the market, my second question has to do with parking. And I look at figure 4 in your justification report that outlines the parking provisions and just a general layout of the subdivision plan. And I note the sidewalk is drawn into the center area of the development, which, again, and I know this is not the scale, but in terms of understanding the size of the driveway, what we're seeing more and more, and certainly as councillors, what we hear after the approvals have been done, after everything has been built out, and the builder has taken their money and moved on to the next phase, we as councillors then are faced with parking issues. Given the market, given the price of houses it doesn't seem to be moving down, in particular there doesn't seem to be a lot of movement on new builds reducing their prices to the market. We're seeing where more and more single-family homes are now being rented out to multiple individuals, which all have cars. Plus, in addition to that, what we hear is when an owner buys a home, and even if it is a single family, when there's guests come for visiting, for example, we obviously have restrictions on street parking. Then the issue becomes, where do they park? So while I understand and appreciate that homes sell and driveways don't, my question is more to do with how do we meet up the planning aspect with the livability aspect to ensure that the customers that are going to buy these homes can have full functionability in terms of parking, and perhaps even from the perspective of affordability, from a tenancy perspective of more than one vehicle per house. How does that fit into this plan?
Well, that's a very good question, Councillor Carr, and may be something that the staff might want to also speak to, but it's obviously something that the builder cares about, and townhouses, for example, generating more cars, and they wanted to be very particular with the arrangement of the townhouses and ensuring that they are dispersed throughout the subdivision and not in large blocks. And where they are in larger blocks, we have greater depth so that we can have longer driveways, and that's for the two-story towns. All of the units have garages, and so the opportunity is there for homeowners to use the garage to park their car, as well as there's a driveway that is then on the end of the garage to the curb or sidewalk, whichever. The municipality has a zoning bylaw now that restricts the width of driveways, and that's a provision that I think for many reasons is a good one. It helps reduce the amount of pervious area. It's better for stormwater quality. It's better for aesthetics. But there is a restriction on 50% of the frontage being utilized for at least that, for no more than that for driveways. So we are conscious of that in terms of laying out the various dwelling units within the subdivision. So there's only so much parking that can be provided within this neighborhood or any neighborhood within the city, because there's a requirement to have green space on every property. Especially through the new zoning bylaw. It's now in part of the regulations for the new zoning bylaw. So I think this is going to be a continually unfolding issue that the city is going to have to review as time goes by. And across this municipality and others have reduced parking requirements in zoning bylaws, and certainly the Belleville bylaw is very much the same. And you do see that. So we still know that people in Belleville all drive cars and have cars, and that you have homes that have, you know, potentially multiple cars. So it becomes a challenge, and I don't have an answer for you on that, except that I know that the builder is very conscious of that. And we spent some time when we were laying out the townhomes and where they're positioned with respect to the singles. We spent some time on that to try and avoid the situation where we had a concentration, and that, you know, so that we would have perhaps more of the densities dispersed throughout the crescent.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? No? Okay, thank you very much. Anyone else wanting to speak on the application? And I'll request a third time. Anyone wishing to speak on the application? Okay, seeing none. Just give me 1 second. I have a resolution that the 2215100 Ontario Incorporated and 2380416 Ontario Incorporated application B-77-1214 be referred to the regular Planning Advisory Committee meeting for consideration. Moved by Councillor Brown, seconded by Councillor Millette. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Need a motion to adjourn this portion. Councillor Wright Miller, Councillor Brown, all in favor? That's carried. Moving on to the Plan Advisory Committee, disclosure of pecuniary interest and general nature thereof. Seeing none, reading confirmation of the minutes. Will the minutes of the Plan Advisory Committee meeting held on May 6, 2024 be approved? Moved by Mr. Valtutis, seconded by Councillor Brown. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. No deputations. Correspondence, that the Planning Advisory Committee received the correspondence for information. Councillor Alsop, Mr. Fenton, all in favor? That's carried. 5.2 notification letter from Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing, that the Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing letter May 28th, 2024 regarding Bill 162, Get It Done Act 2024 be received. Ms. Van Dyke and Mr. Fenton, any questions or comments on that one? I will say that that's a unique name for a bill. I will also say that I'm pleased to see that this bill redraws the urban boundary back to what was originally recommended here at this committee and approved by council. It was unfortunate that the province took one paragraph submission over some winter months and decided to completely redraw the line, not factoring in what that would cost us in terms of infrastructure. So this definitely rights a wrong, which is good to see, and seems to be a lot of legislation going backwards to undo things, but at least it's done properly. All in favor of the resolution? That's carried. Thank you. Referrals from the public meeting. 6.1, notice of complete application and introductory public meeting for proposed zoning bylaw amendment, bylaw 2024-100, Brennan Road, roll number 12081000351040. City of Belleville, owner is Christopher Sherman. Agent is Keith Watson of Watson Land Surveyors. File number is B-77-1212. Resolution is that report number APS-2024-30 dated June 3rd, 2023 regarding a notice of complete application and introductory public meeting for proposed amendment, proposed zoning bylaw amendment, bylaw 2024-100, Brennan Road, roll numbers 120810000351040, City of Belleville, be received as information, and that staff report back at such time as input from the public, commenting agencies, and municipal departments has been received, assessed, and addressed to the satisfaction of the Engineering Development Services Department. Moved by Mr. Valtutis, seconded by Councillor Brown. Any questions or comments? Councillor Brown.
Thank you, Chair. I direct my question to staff. Currently, it indicates that the retained parcel is farmland, but that it appears to be under a designation of rural use. I just want to confirm it is not designated prime agricultural?
No, it's not designated prime agriculture, it's designated rural land use.
So going forward, then, there could be an opportunity to sever off more lots within this particular parcel, despite the fact that it's being used for farmland?
Under the policies of the official plan, that is correct, possibly one more.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor? That's carried. Thank you. 6.2, notice of complete application and introductory public meeting for proposed zoning bylaw amendment bylaw 2024-100, 676 Foxton Road, Roslyn, City of Belleville. Owner is Justin Kyle Bell. File numbers B-77-1213. Resolution reads that report number APS-2024-31 dated June 3rd, 2023 regarding notice of complete application and introductory public meeting for proposed zoning bylaw amendment bylaw 2024-100, 676 Foxton Road, Roslyn, City of Belleville be received as information, and that staff report back at such time as input from the public, commenting agencies, and municipal departments has been received, assessed, and addressed to the satisfaction of the Engineering and Development Services Department. Moved by Councillor Brown, seconded by Councillor Enright Miller. Any questions or comments? See none, all in favor? That's carried, thank you. 6.3, notice of complete application and introductory public meeting for proposed zoning bylaw amendment bylaw 1024-100, Settlers Ridge East, Phase 3, City of Belleville. Owner is 221-5100 Ontario Incorporated and 238-0416 Ontario Incorporated. Applicant agent is RFA Planning Consultant Incorporated. File numbers B-77-1214. Resolution then reads that report number APS 2024-32 dated June 3rd, 2024 regarding notice of complete application and introductory public meeting for proposed zoning bylaw amendment to zoning bylaw 2024-100 for Settlers Ridge East, Phase 3, City of Belleville be received as information, and that staff report back at such time as input from the public, commenting agencies, and municipal departments has been received, assessed, and addressed to the satisfaction of the Engineering and Development Services Department. Moved by Councillor Millette, seconded by Mr. Fenton. Any questions or comments? Mr. Baltutis.
Thank you, guys. Chair, to the staff, who maintains the OGS systems? Is that the city's responsibility? And is it, if it is, are they maintaining it and recording that it is being pumped out and cleaned?
Through you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, after assumption, it is the city.
City's
maintains the-
responsibility and costs.
Yeah.
Oh, joy. Okay, thanks.
Other questions? Councillor Alsop?
Yes, thank you, Chair. And I just wanted to follow up with staff regarding the conversation that was had during Ms. Ferguson Althouse's presentation regarding the parking and how we square the need for parking and then the issues that have been expressed to certainly the councillors in some of these new subdivisions with the new consolidated zoning bylaw that has some reductions for parking and limitations on how much of the front yard can be used for driveway. Is that something we're looking to revisit over time? This being, of course, a living document, to a much greater extent than the previous one. Has that been something that's risen to your level at this point?
So through the chair to Councillor Alsop, the council did just approve the zoning bylaw. I think Ruth mentioned a few things that we've introduced, like 25% minimum landscape open space in the front yard. Some of those driveways are perhaps the result of development that occurred before this new zoning bylaw and the 25% minimum landscape open space. The intention would be to perhaps look at parking in a more holistic way in the future. Although, as you're aware, planning studies are quite focused right now on increasing the land supply, such as the Loyola secondary plan update. We're looking at a corridor study that might introduce some more mixed uses, including residential. And we're going to be tackling lands, urban lands north of the 401. So we do have a full plate. So we would let it be our intention to sort of let a parking study occur in a few years' time once we sort of allow for the recently approved zoning bylaw to sort of play out.
Thank you very much.
Any other questions or comments? Ms. Van Dyke?
Through you, Mr. Chair. So I'm still trying to wrap my head around populating 300 citizens and 2 acres of land. Do we have any similar subdivisions that are populated with this size? And can you tell me comparatively? Just thank you.
Through you, Mr. Chair, to Ms. Van Dyke. Yeah, I would say Mercedes Meadows is probably a similar sized subdivision, and there is no parkette in that one. Again, as mentioned by the applicant, the intent of this parkette is to connect to another future plan, and then along with the multi-use trail, providing that additional mode of transportation to a larger park. For clarification, we are working directly with our parks manager on this. So I think we do intend to reach out to the applicants and discuss the park proposal. You know, at this phase, it's still in that initial proposal phase, so the ultimate build-out might change with the final recommendation, but we're still working through that with them as part of that Parks and Rec master plan.
Okay, and one more question. Has there been any issues surrounding noise that we needed to do, like a noise study or anything like that? I'm just thinking, you know, somebody even has a party or house guests, and Councillor over here, Councillor Paul had mentioned, you know, multiple people in houses, and I know that we're having that issue in other places in our city where we have young adults that are living together and there's issues in the neighborhood.
Yeah, noise studies are typically triggered more along the lines in proximity to rail lines, for example, or heavy industrial uses. They're typically not triggered for residential, abutting residential. A situation like that you're describing, for example, would be something handled through our noise bylaw. So bylaw enforcement would handle that.
Perfect. Thank you for educating me.
Any other questions or comments? Mr. Baltutis.
Thank you. For the bus services in this new neck of the woods, is there bus services going to be out that way to help cut back on the vehicles, parking, et cetera, et cetera? Nope. More cars? Long term, okay. Thank you.
I'll just touch on that just briefly. There's been trials up there before. Ridership has been low. In addition, that has been paid through gas tax. Residents in that area don't have transit as part of their tax bill. And so, in addition, there was some opposition to having not only the service up there with low ridership, but also the unwillingness to have that added as a service on their taxes. But it will be something we'll have to look at for the future. The demand wasn't there. The reconfiguration of transit in terms of quicker routes, I think will factor into perhaps an appetite for it in the future. The last couple trials have been at a time when the transit routes were a lot longer and moving about the city was quite cumbersome, is how it was described. So I think with the new transit routes that are successful in Ward 1, we could investigate it in the future, but that's the Coles notes on the history there. No problem. Any other questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, I got a resolution on the floor. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Moving on to reports, 7.1 staff recommendation report, proposed official plan and zoning bylaw amendment, 84 Canafton Road North, City of Belleville. Owner is 226-7178 Ontario Incorporated. Applicant is RFA Planning Consultant Incorporated. File number is PLOZA 202-2400009 and B-77-1208. Resolution reads that the Planning Advisory Committee recommends the following to City Council: that applications PLOZA 202-40009 and B-77-1208 to amend the official plan as amended and the City of Belleville zoning bylaw 2024-100 as amended for 84 Canafton Road North, City of Belleville be approved as follows. The Belleville's official plan as amended be amended by redesignating the subject land from commercial land use to residential land use, and that zoning bylaw number 2024-100 as amended be amended by rezoning the subject land from community commercial C2 zone to residential type 2 R2 zone. Moved by Councillor Brown, second by Councillor Enright Miller. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor? That's carried. Information matters, resolution of the official plan, zoning bylaw amendment monitoring report dated June 3rd, 2024 be received. Mr. Baltutis and Ms. Van Dyke, any questions or comments on that report? Seeing none, all in favor? That's carried. General business. Any items for general business? Seeing none, motion to adjourn. Councilor Ryan Miller and Mr. Fenton, all in favor? That's carried. Thank you.